How do you make decisions in games? The decisions you make about how to use your resources, when and which tools to use, and how to improve your character can all make your game easier or more difficult. We're going to look at these three scenarios and discuss how they can change the course of your game, and then at the end we'll look and see how you can use them to your advantage to become a better gamer. Now, the first one we're going to look at is Scarcity. The original Resident Evil game is a great example for this. You're limited on the amount of ammo and meds that you have, so you have to decide when to attack and when to run and when to use your meds. Now, Scarcity is the concept that there is not an infinite amount of resources and you need to decide when, how, and how much you should use. And scarcity is really what drives economics. If we didn't have scarcity and we had an infinite amount of everything, who cares about the decisions that you make? Most games have some form of money to advance through the game. If we look at a game like Civ 6, how you spend your money is a big dilemma. Early on, you don't have much gold, so you could purchase something like a shrine in this case, which will give you a big advantage and help you throughout the game. But if you do purchase that shrine, you risk not having enough money to purchase, say, a warrior if someone else attacks you. And that's exactly what we run into with games. Games are just a trade-off between two or more different things, and if you choose something, it'll either pay off or it won't. A trade-off is just when you give up one or more options for a different preferred option, and what you give up is called the opportunity cost. One opportunity cost of purchasing a shrine means you may not be able to afford the unit if somebody attacks you. The second part is what to carry. Many games have a limited number of slots for weapons or junk or different things like that, and you have to leave behind different items if you don't have enough room. In a game like Far Cry, what weapon you carry plays a huge role in how you play. Do you use a bow or do you grab the submachine gun? The opportunity cost of going with a bow is losing a high-powered gun that has multiple shots in a short amount of time. The opportunity cost of going with the gun is that you don't have as much stealth ability because the gun is so loud. So these decisions change how you play the game, and they change as you progress through the game. So maybe early on you start off playing a stealth sort of game, and then as you play later on, you may decide you want to go in blasting. Now, the last topic is the perfect example of opportunity cost, and that is how to use or when to accumulate XP. A bunch of games have this in them, but let's focus on a game like, say, Spiderman. Should you use your newly gained XP now, or wait until you have enough to build up on what you've already purchased? The further up the tree you go, usually the better things you get, but it also costs more to move up the tree. The opportunity cost is either having something now or waiting for something better. And it may not even be how to use XP, but how should you gain XP? Going back to Civ 6, you receive era points and that benefits you as you move into the next era. But each era has a set number of era points you need to meet, and if you go over that number, they do not roll into the next era. So it's best to have the exact number of era points before moving into the next era. And this is where the dilemma comes in. Do you continue to, say, explore and build and receive era points that you can use later, or do you wait until the era is over and sacrifice progressing through the game? Those are the opportunity costs that you would be giving up. If you've made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe. Now, games are full of trade-offs and opportunity costs, and we've only skimmed the surface in this video. So how do you make the best decisions in these scenarios? Well, a lot of it depends on what game you're playing and what strategy you're trying to play with. And I'm sure you've thought of these things as you've played different games. Early on, it's usually better to use perks that provide benefits throughout the game. Something that allows you to gain XP or money faster. You also have to think about risk. Many trade-offs have a higher or lower risk. If you need something to really improve your player, you may take a risk now to benefit you later on. Risk plays a huge role in trade-offs and opportunity costs, and it's such a big topic, it would take a whole different video to explain everything that goes into it. I think a lot of people, not just gamers, struggle with the idea of sunk costs, and sunk costs are just costs that you cannot recover. If you choose a perk or you make a decision that you realize was wrong, Do not try to make up for it, or it could sink you deeper into a hole. Move on from it and continue with something else. Now, some of this gets into game theory, which is a huge topic, and like Risk would take a whole different video to explain and go through all the ideas on it. But the idea to take from this video is that every decision you make has a trade-off and has opportunity costs that you're giving up. So when you make decisions in games, especially really big decisions, understand what the risk is in taking each decision, and that will help guide you into which decision you should take. Thanks for watching.